Alright, you guys, I want to go ahead and offer up an update to the Dead Air Sierra 5. Alright, you guys, we'll go ahead and start from the tip and work our way down. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the flash mitigating end cap that your actual silencer will come with. And I actually got some footage of me shooting this out at night. Let me go ahead and show you that video now. Alright, guys, this time we're going to go ahead and conduct a flash test on the Dead Air Sierra 5 and see just how well it possibly mitigates flash. Dead Air Sierra 5. All right, continuing to work our way down, getting into the body of the actual silencer. It's a hard use can, and I have definitely utilized it that way in the short period of time I've owned it. I think I'm somewhere around a year and a half, something like that, and somewhere around 2,500 rounds fired through it so far. The majority of that has all been semi-auto, but at least, I don't know, I'm gonna guess at least somewhere around 500 of those rounds have been fired full auto. As through the video you should have seen already. The two primary hosts for this particular silencer for me is my little 10.3 here, and then also a 14.5 that I own. I've also shot it on some other firearms such as Q's Minifix 16-inch 5.56, and then also on an FN SBR PS90, a 5.7x28 firearm. She's handled all of those particular hosts extremely well, suppressed all of them extremely well, and you know, I've had great success with the can so far as suppression. I'll say this definitely is a really good can as far as suppression, and I'll rank it up there with my Surefire RC2 as far as suppression and tone. The tone is definitely a little bit different from my RC2, but I do enjoy the tone of this one as well. The ruggedness of the body, the material being used, I totally forgot the material being used. Stainless Inconel, I don't know, I don't really remember. I got a bunch of scratches on this thing because I've definitely dropped it a few times. I've also just kind of tossed it into the bed of the truck, if not into the cab of the truck. And as far as the few times I've dropped it, I don't see any damage to the exterior of it, such as denting or anything like that, other than some scratches. The finish is holding up on this one. With the full auto firings I've done, I don't have any spots that are burnt. But I've also, with my full auto runs, it's usually been controlled burst, usually no more than 10 to 15 rounds on full auto before I take a break and fire off the next string. With a string, I don't think I've done a 30. I'm not into abusing my stuff. I'm into using my stuff. But it's done extremely well. And all those negative reviews I've been seeing out there where people's cans are uh, blowing up, getting damaged, baffles coming loose, stuff like that. So far, I've had zero of those issues with my particular one. I think that covers it for the most part as far as the body. Definitely pleased with the silencer, especially over my original review, where I think a lot of that was at the time of purchase, I wasn't hearing or seeing anything negative about it. I was just as excited as everyone else for Dead Air to finally come out the 5.56 one. It wasn't until I picked it up that I started coming across all the negative reviews going out. So I think it actually started me off negatively, regrets, fear of issues and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and move on. Okay, moving into the modular part, or the adapter section of the can, the bottom end of it. It's the industry standard 1 3/8 by 24 from Dead Air. You have two options. You have this one here, which is the Chemo, or also the Xeno. Considering they utilize the industry standard thread pitch, you could also use certain other companies' adapters as far as they use that same thread pitch. So far, the only other ones I've used on this one is a Q Plan B one, which allowed me to fix it to the Q Mini Fix and also the PS90. I think I said in my original one that I had zero plans of ever using it with anyone else's adapters. Now that I've done it, I'm actually pleased with the modularity, and I now have two different Plan B mounts, the Q one and also a Rearden one. So I take back what I said on that, and I am happy with its modular capability to use other people's adapters. For those of you who are going to have the same mindset as I did originally, and you haven't watched that one, it does have an actual pre-drilled hole here for a, what's it called, a pin and weld, if you wish to permanently affix it to your actual silencer. My last one was extremely hard and negative on the silencer. I kept just simply torquing it to the Chemo, just kept simply torquing it to the silencer, and I was constantly having issues with when I would go to take it off, instead of coming apart at the Chemo, it would come apart at the threads. My outlook on this now, since that video I stated after my last failed attempt where it started to come loose at those threads, since that video I've used blue Loctite. For all the naysayers in the comment section of that one, you say you have to use Roxette. The owner's manual from Dead Air recommends blue Loctite. Can you use Roxette? Yes. In all my experience, I do use both. It depends on the situation. If you ever plan on taking this off or take it off frequently, I would not recommend Roxette. I'd recommend using the blue Loctite. It helps keep it affixed to it and also easier for removal. So now, since I think it's been a year since that video, with the utilization of blue Loctite, every time I've ever come out here to use this can, I've had zero issues with it coming apart. Why? With basic use, there's no reason for your can to come on and off in the moment while you're out there shooting it. So with that being said, it's not hot. When I'm actually going to take it off is when I get home and I'm breaking her down for cleaning and stuff like that. The firearm's already cooled. I've had zero issues with it coming apart at the threads. Within that year, I have had days where I was out here testing and I was taking it on and off. And only one of those days did it come loose, though, at those threads with the blue Loctite. So for the majority of you, this is not going to be something you're going to even do. On that given day, to give a story behind it, was I was using both my 10.3 and my 14.5, and I was testing out gas defeating charging handles, the Radian Raptor SD and the Silencer Co's GDCH, whatever. So I was taking it on and off quite a bit in a very short period of time while getting the rifle actually pretty damn hot. And it did actually come loose. And I'm happy to say that's the only time, and that's not a normal thing for me to do whenever actually shooting and training. So I am happy with just the blue Loctite, and I'm happy to say now I do not have a problem with it coming loose at the threads anymore. Um, Overall, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this because I think I went ahead and covered everything. I am definitely pleased with this can. Uh, as far as flash mitigation, I think it does extremely well. As far as suppression, I think for a baffle style can, does just as good as many other baffle style cans within this size frame. As far as tone, I'm very pleased with the tone. It's slightly different from my RC2, but I definitely do like it. The hub compatibility with other brands, I'm now a fan of that. Chemo, I've always been a fan of Chemo. I have had zero issues with Chemo. I've never had a problem where it did not lock up. I've never had yet with my two Chemo silencers, my springs wear out. Let's see. I would say my only con to this can, which still consists from my last video, is back pressure. Of all the 5.56 cans I own and have used before, this one is still the gaseous one. It's also the only one I've ever really experienced with a single shot pause, actually getting poofs of gas into my face, hence the gaseous can I've ever had experience. And then with the increased rate of fire, it's similar to, if not a little bit more gassier than other cans fired. So I would say if there's any con, it's the gas to the face, and the increased cyclic rate. Just know if you're going to put this on a gas gun, you're going to have to kind of tune it to help increase or to eliminate the increased cyclic rate, which will cause higher wear and tear on your parts. At the same time, will help mitigate the amount of gas to your face and everything. For those who might ask anyways, later on down in the comments, as far as tuning, my 14.5 is tuned to my RC2 despite it's currently semi set up for shooting this one, which was nothing more than an H3 buffer was the only thing changed. With this one, it is still over gas, but I'm okay with it. The only issue I have is, yes, a increase in cyclic rate, which is also identified by overgassing, was still like a 230 actual ejection pattern on that particular one. On the 10.3, no matter what I put on that thing, the thing is gas right until whatever silencer I put on it. Despite I shot the silencer Velos on that one, it was still over gas. The only one I've shot silencer I've added to that little 10.3 that wasn't over gas was an old Canon OSS HXQD or something like that. But I think I'm definitely rambling on now, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Hopefully this helps out any of you who already own this and are concerned with possible issues or thinking about getting this one. And then also, for just in case if anyone asks, serial number, first three is SR5, last two is 75. I think it was the first three or first four. I don't remember what it was. As far as reference on manufacture date is something you can look up, which I haven't even bothered to look up in a long time for any of those of you who might ask that anyways down in the comments. Thanks and have a good day.